All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day so far. We are going to be back today, March 25th. Going to be working on just doing some work on Leet code problem and working on our project. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day so far. Welcome in, welcome one, welcome all, welcome back. Welcome back. All right, let's get the chat loaded up. Hello, Mr. Mahan. Welcome back in. All right, there we go. It's a warm one today here where I'm at. Finally, the sun is coming out and it is a little bit toasty. Hopefully, it's warming up for you guys as well, getting into spring. All right, let's hop on into this. All right. So this linked list this is 83, remove duplicates from sorted linked list. Given the head of a sorted linked list, delete all the duplicates such that each element appears only once. Return the linked list sorted as well. Okay. This one doesn't seem too difficult. So while head while head. Hey Tim, dude, what's going on? Awesome. That sounds great. You solved the stair problem that we did yesterday. We had to learn a little bit about memoization and how to use it yesterday. That's awesome, dude. Congrats. Okay, while head, do we want to say head dot next is not equal to none? So you'll stop on the last node and break. And you got to return head. So while head does not equal to none, current value is equal to head.val if this will say current value. Come out of the loop, we'll say scene value is equal to head.val, right? I guess we'll say none here at first. So while head is not equal to none, we save the current value. Right, so this will be current value if current value is equal to scene value, then we're going to say we're going to need to delete the node. So temp is equal to current. So temp is equal to head, which is the current value we're on, what current node we're on. We need to delete this value. Right, we need to delete this value, so we save it. We say we save the current value in a temporary variable. So now we need to save head.next in the temporary variable, right? Because we need to capture whatever comes next after head. And then say, so the next node is head.next. We are going to say, so we need to delete this node though. So we need to unlink it from the previous one. So we have to look ahead basically. So let's say this. So while head dot next does not equal to none, we're going to save current value is head current at this value. We then say that if current value make your name bigger. Oh, not talking to me. Okay, so we need to, if we're on this node, we want to detect at the next node. So let's just back up. Okay, so let's say let's just get the logic out first. So next node is, so if head.value is equal to head.next.value, then we are going to, so if we detect that the next one so we want to go next, and basically we want to have another loop. So if it equals to the next value, while head.value, oh shoot, I think I'm just overthinking this. So if we're on this node here, we need to eliminate this next node, right? So if the value of the current node, which is 1, is equal to the value of the next node, which is 1, we are going to point the next node to the current node to the next node here. So, but we have to make sure that we can do that though. So so head.next is equal to head.next.next. Right. So if the current value of this node is equal to the value of the next node, then we're going to save the value of head.next as 2 nodes from here. So 1, 2. Right? So if head.next.next is none, which it could be, it'll just set this to none. What if there is no value? It goes beyond. right? So if it doesn't equal to it, we want to just go else. If it doesn't equal, if it doesn't, we just want to move to the next node. So head is equal to head.next. And then we'll wrap this in a while head.next.next does not equal to none. So we want to stop when we're two values away. This could raise none. Okay. So while head dot next, when do we want to stop this loop? That's the question. Okay, so we're on a node. While there are nodes, we want to stop. Do we want to stop on the last one and say while head, right? And then it'll stop. So let's say we're here on this one and we want to delete this node. This one is attached to a none. We will remove this and attach it to the none value, which is next. So then we get to here, it's not equal to none, which is the next value. So we say while head, if head dot next is equal to none. If the next value is none, break elif so then how can I return back say if start equals to 0 start equals to head. Okay. So if start is equal to 0, we're going to save start as the head value and then right, we'll override the value, so then it won't equal to 0. So that won't come true. So if head.next is none, we break and so at the end of this we return start. So elif head.next is none, we break, meaning that we're on the last node. If the head.value, the current node we're on value, is equal to the value of the next node, we are going to skip this and save it not as next, but as next. Oh. No way. Oh. Oh, we failed the last test case, dude. Oh my gosh. We got that almost first try? What? Let's go. Okay, so we just need to handle this edge case of an empty head. It's Tim, bruh. Killing me. Oh. What? Bracket's not a valid value for the expected return type list node. Okay, so we need to go like this. Right? We give it a list node. We gotta use a dummy node. I remember, right? Oh, shoot. We say, get rid of that. We say we make a dummy node. We say dummy.next is equal to head, and we return dummy.next. There we go. Boom! Bang! Yeah! Woohoo! Yeah, that was a quick one, boys. Solved that one in less than 20 minutes. Let's go. Easy. Easy peasy. It's a little bit slow compared to other people, so there is a better solution out there. There is a better solution out there. Huh. There is a better solution. It's an O of N. Looks like there's a O of... Huh. There's a better solution, huh? That's what you're trying to tell me? Hmm. So this guy says, if there's not any head, then you return head. Current is equal to head, while current and current.next, if the value you set it equal to the next else current, return head. So this is still O of N, no? It's the same solution. Hmm. So by creating a dummy node, I use a lot more time. So let's say this. Um, right, he had if not head, return head. So if head isn't a value, return the non-value. We don't need, this sets the current. It's the head. While current. So he says while current and current.next, while you have a current and a current.next. So I think because I have this, if it's that, then break. So I could say that in there. So does that give me... Okay, so if you... It's still the same complexity, though. Come on. Don't do me like that. Right, it's... So if you create... Let's ask the GPT. I solved... Leet code problem 83 and am analyzing complexity. I have two solutions. One, both are linear, but the other both are linear, but one is faster, is 3x faster than the other. So let's give him my two solutions. Faster, slower. This one was pretty easy. Is it slower because I am creating a list node object? Both. Let's see. Okay. So yes, the main reason why the second solution is slower because of the extra list node object, dummy, you created at the beginning. However, the impact of that alone is negligible. The real reason it's slower is likely due to how dummy.next is being returned to head. Here's why. Extra memory allocation. Creating a new list node object dummy encourages small overhead. Additional pointer redirection. The second solution introduces an extra level of indirection through dummy.next, which can lead to significantly worse cache locality. Significantly slightly different memory access patterns. Since dummy is an extra node in memory, the traversal pattern may introduce additional cache misses, making it slightly less efficient. Even though both solutions of O of n time complexity, the first one is more direct and efficient since it avoids unnecessary redirections. The second one is more commonly used in problems where modifying the head is required. Interesting. Interessante. Sweet. All right, we solved that one, boys. Quick as can be. Might be a quick stream today. Oh, sweet. We can reward ourselves with chilling tonight. Okay, let's go ahead and see what. Let's take a little peek at the next one. What is the next problem called? Merge sorted array. Ooh, didn't I already fail at this one? No, merge two sorted lists. Merge sorted array. Well, that one will come at tomorrow. All right. Sweet. Let's go ahead and work on the project. No, I'm not doing the matrix one right now. No way. All right. Back on the project, we need to keep focused on this. We need to keep it moving. So my goal here is to implement the app.py auxiliary, or the inventory search mechanism here, for returning back queries and reporting them out via this matrix for specific filters on these searches. So I think it'll be pretty easy, actually. I kind of already have an idea of what I want to do and how to do it. We're already given the headers here. We can basically just put in make queries with variables to do this, right? So let's try it. So this is what it currently looks like right now. And then let's keep it moving. We did the one a day, boys. We did the one a day. We got to be grateful for what we can get. We don't want to jump the gun. Next thing you know, we're struggling. we got to take the wins when we get them, when we come by an easy problem. Because Lord knows we're going to come by some hard ones. Pause. Okay. So that's what my inventory looks like. I pulled it over to my other screen here so I can make sure I can reference what's going on. So this is the refresh matrix, inventory matrix. You have the clear item search that I implemented. Okay, so we're going to need to do this. Let's go like this. So we're going to need to do this. We have to go. Where am I doing my database functions at? In the database manager class. Okay, so we're gonna go like this. Def. Let's call this item search, or inventory item search. Right? You give a self on this. You also have to give a column, right? And you have to give a value, right? Or some sort of value. Okay. Next thing we need is, okay, that's that. So we're going to need to call so we're gonna call func within the data DB manager class to query. How do you spell query? I can never spell this word. Is it Query? All right. I always think there's an I in there. Call function within the database manager class to query for the specified value located at within the given column. Okay. Let's go ahead and let's find out as it is. All right. Now we're going to say found values is equal to a database. Oop, not that guy. Self.database dot we're going to call the inventory. I don't want to name it the same, but DB inventory item search. This is the command, right? So this is the database. And that'll be that. And we're going to pass in to this the column. How can I just give this column? That. So we'll pass that in, and that returns this. And we want to pass, right? Okay, so now we need to write this. So let's go into our DB manager class. This is going to be inventory functions. This will be fetch item search. Right? So we have fetch inventory, add item to inventory. This is fetching. So let's keep with the consistency. Fetch inventory item search. Column and value. So now we'll add in here, below here, def fetch inventory item search, given self here, and we're going to give, right, column and a value. We are going to then we are then going to go like this and say self.db right, dot execute, select all from inventory column, right, where column equals value. We're going to pass in insert select all from inventory where can you show me an example of selecting info from a SQLite DB in a specific column with a specific value? Cursor, select from product category. Okay, so I was right. So where that is equal to that. And then we'll put in here the values of column right and value. And then we'll say dot fetch all. right? And then we're going to return those, right? So if there's none there, right? So we got to account for that. So found values. If not found values, we're going to return false, right? Because it failed. But before we return false, we're going to call the self dot, right? Because this is all within a class, so I can call all of my entries via the self. And we're going to call self to the search item message label, right? And we're going to do .config on this and override the text to equal status no items found. So then let's just make sure this is working, and let's just override, right? We're going to call refresh inventory matrix clear item search. That's on the clear. So we need a function here called def populate matrix via search, right? And then this is going to give some found values or some items in the form of a list. Right, because that's what it returns, a list of the found items. And we're going to say for, so we need self as well. For item in items, if, now we're going to go item equals so we basically can take this here, copy this down, move this back, don't need that. So this is just going to be the items given, right? If items, so if there's no items, we don't want to throw an error, right? So if items, so we won't say that because we're given, we want it load on blank items, right? So for item in items, right? So if items, we'll do this though. So if items, we will do this, else we don't need to raise an error. We'll just reconfigure the So here, we'll do this here. We'll just reconfigure else self.that and then return false, right? Return true. So if items return true, you found it. So then we have found values, found items. We then call self.populate matrix via search on found items, right? And then we don't want to save the return, it doesn't matter, because we're handling the error here. And that'll be it. So we call command item command. This is the command for the entry command or whatever that's captured when you press the button for search for an item, right? Right here. No, that's add. And the search button will add this command here equals to self dot search item no, not populate command, right? So on this we're gonna on this command for pressing the search button, right, from our thing, if you press the search button, right, what's gonna happen is that you're gonna run this function here. You're gonna query the database fetch inventory items search function for the given column and value. So in DB here, we have fetch inventory item search. We have column and value. We return this query for select all from inventory where blank equals to blank and column and value. We then specify and we fetch all. So that'll return a list, whether empty or populated, right? We call self.populate matrix via search on the found items. This function here will run if items, right? If this has values inside, we're going to go ahead and populate the matrix with those found items. And then else will override the status label to say no items found. And then we'll go yeah. Okay, so now let's see what happens. Hey, Marty. Welcome in, dude. Okay, so if we search ID number 1, type error, inventory tab command, item search missing 2 required column and value. Oh, I'm not referencing the entries. Okay, so we have to give a column and value. Okay, hold on. So we don't take in a column and value, just take in self. Then we're going to go like this and get a column is equal to the self.search item filter dot get, right? And then we're going to say value is equal to self dot search item entry dot get, right? If not, column and value, we're going to do this, but override it and say status failed blank entry. Okay, so that gives us a column and value. We don't need to verify anything on these because if you don't get it, you don't get it, right? So it's probably because you have a bad value. Right, because this isn't this is user input, but we're searching for something in the database. So if they give a bad value, then that's just on them. They need to give the right value in terms of like, we don't have like autocorrect going on. So now if we run, let's click out of that one. Let's go app.py. Boom. Okay, so if we go ID 1, let's extend this out so you guys can see any errors. Right. Let's see what happens. I need to track egg prices. I could release the 1.0 version really whenever. I'm not going to go back and work on it anymore because I'm starting to take functions from it now, like the validation and checks I took and carried over from that original attempt. So I could push it to GitHub and make it public just for you guys to look at and mess around with if you want. This one currently is just private. Okay, search. Oh. No items found, huh? So if I give a blank here and I do a search, no items found. Oh, so it returns back blank strings. So if what does a blank combo box return on a event on a .get? Empty string. So if column equals to empty string and value equals to empty string this, and then return false, right? Return true, because we don't want it to continue on. We'll break. I mean, we could say else, right? Okay, so now let's go quit. Let's run. So now if I give a blank search, status failed, blank entry, perfect. Now if I give you an ID search, status no items found. Okay, so this needs to be an or, not an and. So like a search, no items found, blank entry, no items found, clear, matrix reset, search. Okay, let's do ID 1, no items found. Let's add in some print statements. This is doing fetch, populate. Search failed, no items found. If items. We'll print found items there before we call this. We'll also print column, and then we'll print value as well. Okay, let's see what happens in the terminal. Okay, we should see stuff happening here for these prints. So if I go clear, matrix reset, ID, search, failed, 1, here we go. ID 1 blank. So my query isn't working. Or it might be. So let's go here, here. ID 1. Oh, these are strings. That's why. That's why. Okay, so we'll go here. Value. Okay, we're gonna have to do this. So okay, we're gonna have to really do a lot of match cases. So if column in this tuple here, quote ID, what else are our columns for this? Date is a string, 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 cost. So cost value equals int value. And then we'll find items on that column. Right? So now let's go app py quit. That one. Run. Yes. Okay. Bring this over so you guys it won't show any. I removed the print statement. So ID 1. No items found. No. No. Description. Let's do skull maker 90. No items found. How does this function look? Don't show me code. Your function is vulnerable to SQL injection because you're passing column parameter as your query parameter. Column equals this. Yeah. Okay, so now let's try it. item 1 already exists. TCL error. I'm calling insert. Oh. Oh, okay. So what I need to do is, if items, we need to clear out the current. So we have this, so we'll do def clear inventory matrix self, and then we'll call this, right? And then we'll get rid of this, call self dot clear inventory matrix, and then we need to go here, if items, we're going to do self dot clear inventory matrix. This returns false. If that return true if this else false. So we can return just this actually. This will return a true or false value depending on this move on found items. Now if we run, I think this will work. We had to clear out. Okay, search, blank, ID, blank entry, 1. Yes! Yay! Woo! Look at that. We did it, guys. Leave a thumbs up for that. We did it. We got it working. We successfully got our matrix, will repopulate now with the filtered parameters. Woohoo! Awesome. Okay, now watch. If I go clear, it'll bring it all back. Yes! Oh! Nice. So now let's do description test item. Right? This should pull up these 2 items. Yes! Dude, I'm getting that feeling. I'm getting that feeling, boys. Like that rush, that coding rush. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about when your stuff is working. Getting that feeling. I've got that feeling inside my bone. Okay, so now let's do size. Let's look up let's clear. Matrix reset. Let's do size medium. This should pull them all up still. No items found. So we do need to do a validation check on the filter. So if column ID, right, elif column equal to quote, what was it? Size. We need to value dot upper return eval or in place. Returns a new string. That. So we'll just uppercase the value no matter what, because that's what all the sizes are. So if we go @pi, item search, size, medium. If we say large, we shouldn't get any, so L, no items found. But if we say medium, I think that's just staying there. So if we get a successful search, let's update that label as well. So if we get a successful search here, we're going to say self.search item message label .config text is equal to status items found. So now if we run this, if we search here for size large, we'll get no items found. Perfect. Now if we search for size medium, items found. Because they're all medium, nothing changed. It just visually is the same now. This is so sick. Isn't this awesome, you guys? Okay, now let's pull up items. The only thing I can think of though, right, is I do want to make it search case insensitively for the description. Right. So in my database manager class, I'm fetching here on where column here. So I'm gonna say column dot lower and then I'm gonna say we're gonna make this all lowercase. No, because that won't bring you back a column. I don't know how to do that. So we'd have to go in and lowercase all of the values of the description in the database and then search because yeah, I'm not sure. Right. So we're going item search description. If I go like test, right, I'll pull that test item up. But if I go test all lowercase, all uppercase, no items found. So if no items are found, we're going to clear as well. Just to show you that no items were found as well. So if we go item ID 9, search, nothing, no items were found. We can clear and bring it back. This is sick. This is so cool. It's moving along, boys. Okay, so now we can go here, status, we can say inventory, search, no items found. Oh, items are found. They're all inventory. Right? If we convert the search input to lowercase, that's what I was originally doing. But that's what I was attempting to do. But that'll just lowercase the search input, and not all of these are lowercase. I'd have to lowercase all of the descriptions of the items before I do the query. And that would be a pretty big operation, like in terms of time. Now, is it worth it, do you guys think? I think so. Like, in terms of if I'm a user and I type in test, I don't want to have to try all the different case possibilities of test just in case there's a random capital in there on accident, right? So should we force our item descriptions to be title cased so that you have title casing? So let's do this. Let's go add into the add item. Let's go into the inventory manager, inventory tab, or no, self.add item here. Insert into the value. We're going to say the item description is dot title case. Where am I getting, however, where am I uppering the size? That's what I want to know. Let's go to the inventory tab. Under the add item to inventory, I'm calling it check. My check size is returning an uppercase size in my auxiliary functions. So in my auxiliary functions, I have a check size, which is returning size uppercased. Okay. So I'm doing it in different places, but it's happening somewhere. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. No, it's a good idea, Adida. Please let me know if I said that correctly. I really, really appreciate your input. No, that's a great idea. And just being able to talk through these ideas will help us learn. And you're new, so that's great. So I really like just talking through my ideas out loud. And, I just, as I write, I'm like, return true, blah, 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 blah. As I'm typing, I'm talking my through. So communicating with you via these ideas really helps to, understand what's going on in this program. So, no, thank you so much for your input. Right. So then we were turning uppercase on the size here. So then in our database manager on the so let's not do that here. Let's just leave it passed in as it is, right? But let's do it on the get, right? So in the inventory, we're getting, and we're doing a size check here. On description, we're going to call dot title. Right? No, I'm not going to do that there because I want to get the blank string. If we try to call a dot title on a blank string, I think we'll raise an error. So we're going to, now that we pass this check, we're going to then title case does dot title return a new val, and what is the output? Returns a new string with the first letter of each word capitalized. That's what I thought. So we're going to go item description is equal to item description dot title. We'll override it here, right? Force title case on item description. And then that sends it into our add. And so then what we'll do is in our query, in our search, when we get the value, if column is description, so we'll go like this. We'll match column with case in case of ID or cost. These two costs, right? We're going to int the value. We're going to match case here. To size. We're going to upper the value if size. We're going to match case to description. No. Description, yeah. Right, we're going to match that case to value equals value dot title. And that will handle that bug. So now if we go like this, we clear this, we go app.py run. Now we have our program. We type in description skull maker 90, all lowercase, right? We search, we pull up skull maker 90. Yo, clear. Let's do, let's go ahead and add an item. So if I clear, maybe I want to reset these back. That'll be maybe another feature, but let's go ahead and add an item called test with a capital T. So 2025-03-25 description test with a capital T. Well, now that we're doing this, let's make sure it's working. Let's do test all lowercase. Now this should title case it. Let's do test, right? Make sure both of these are being titled. Size is small. Cost 12. Add. Test, perfect. Let's add in a test uppercase, just single word. Add. We also need to strip the word just in case they add in unnecessary spacing on accident. So here, dot strip as well. So now let's relaunch. Right, let's go. Should I make that 50-50? Yeah, I might because it's kind of bleeding. Let's go to the inventory tab. Let's go to the weight of the search frame. So the search item frame. Let's configure the weight of the combo box to back to 1. Now if we run that, now it's 1-to-1 in size. Now description fit, date purchased, description now it just fits a little bit better. We could remove some of the pad on this. Looks like there's a lot more padding here than there is here for some reason. So let's look at inventory tab. What's the pad? This is 35 on this frame. On this frame it's 20. 20. And that made it a little bigger. There we go. So now that'll fit. That fits perfect. So now if we give a cost of, let's say 12, search, no items found. So we do need to do a check cost on that, right? So let's go check cost on if it's cost. we'll int the value here, and then we'll run also cost, check cost on this, right? And then my check cost returns a cost in cents, right? So then we need to run if that raises a value error. Let's see, auxiliary. So try right, except for a value error as E text is equal to E. So if you get a value error here, you raise that text as the error. And then else, if you get the value, right, you check cost that returns. We're going to then go value equals cents to dollars on the value. So we got to convert it back into dollars to report it into the search. No, because our database is in cents, so we want to just do a check cost. And then it'll convert it back. Okay, so now if we go app.py and run, cost 12, search, type error, argument of type int, not iterable. Oh, because this is, got you, because we're checking for string. So we'll go back to our inventory. We're calling check cost on the value provided, right? If we get that value, we say value is equal to int value, right? So the check cost raised a type error. Like a tuple. So now if we run cost 12, search. Yes! Yo! Yes! Right now if I go clear 12.0, do I still get it? Yes! Now if I go 12.00, do I still get it? Yes! Now if I go 3 zeros, I should not get it. Oh, I do get it. Oh, because it's still 000. Because it's still within that range. So if I search this, no items found. I can make as many zeros as I want because 000 is still within the range of 0 to 99 for the cents. So you'll still get that. Nice. Okay, let's go date purchased. Let's try this one, 2025-03-25. Search. Yo, this is so sick. So cool. So cool. This is fun. Okay, let's clear. Let's go ID. Let's search for ID number one. Search. Got it. Let's do ID clear. ID number 9 or 9D. Search. No items found. Okay, perfect. That one's working great. Now, if we go clear, if we give like ABC, search, we get this value, the error. Okay, so we need to do a try and attempt here. So try to do this, except for a value error. Right. We'll make the message be, quote, this has to be um, item ID equals status failed, item ID equals integer. Okay. Status. Okay. So on the refresh, if items. Um, Edwards, how's it going, dude? Imagine that Warren Buffett offers you $100 for your system in its current state. Do you sell it? $100? No way. I put in way more time than $100 worth on this in terms of my own like just hours, but it's not even probably worth $100 at its current state. But um, no, no, definitely not 100. Hey, Tech Bite. Yo, passed my Python course today. It was 5 leak code questions in 4 hours. Couldn't use anything besides Python's help functions. Going to keep trucking along. It's a fun language. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun in Python. We're building a whole GUI program just in Python alone. So the honestly, people like to harp on Python and say, it's whatever, it's slow and not. But really, if you can think of it, at least for the main most part, if you can think of it, you can build it in Python for the most. I don't know. It seems that way. So, um, that's kind of why I like it. It's just so universal to do like pretty much anything. I don't know. Nice tech bite. You could import libraries and call the DeepSeek AI and help you technically want to be cheating. Funny. Okay, so okay, let's see here. Let's run. Okay, clear. What happened to our items? What? Uh-oh. What did I break? Oh, there we go. Return true after you do the loop. Else return false. That should do it. There we go. Now we go ID, number ABC, so it's not. We search, no items found. ID ABC. I thought I said this had to be a... So no items were found with ABC. ID, try, except for value error. App.py run, item ID, ABC, search, no items found. How is it searching for ID ABC? I'm converting ID to an integer. I'm not getting that error. A case quote ID, try value. Oh, and then we're gonna false here. Return false here. Right, you gotta quit out. So if I go ID ABC, failed. Item ID equals integer. Now if I go cost ABC, status invalid. Hey, it's okay. Hey, it's okay. Hey. Hold on. You sneezing? What's going on? Down the wrong pipe? Puppy was making some sneezes or something. I don't know. No one's hating on Python, Tim, but people have been saying to learn other things and to like branch out. But honestly, I'm pretty satisfied with just continuing on and gaining like I said in the beginning of my streams is a mastery in Python itself is it just has so many avenues of applicable, programming that I wish I could just know that I'm going to just stick with it and develop like a real mastery and expertise in Python. I find that a lot of people really like learn surface level of a lot of different languages rather than a deep understanding of one or two. And I want to see how viable a deep understanding would be rather than just surface on a multiple. What do you guys think? Hey, Michael and the chat. I'm planning on building a personal finance tracker like which tracks my stocks, cash, bank balance in Python. That's awesome. You could probably do something kind of similar to what I'm doing, honestly. It really could have a similar structure where you have your cash, available cash, and then has your linked bank accounts. You could have your portfolio and your linked stock portfolio. Add purchase or search purchases. It could be a very similar kind of format, honestly, to this. Yeah, that'd be a great idea. I think it would be a good idea. That honestly, Edwards, that sounds like a pretty good idea, especially with the way things are going in crypto. Now, me personally, I'm not super big believer in it, but in terms of just the hype aspect of developing kind of a product, I bet you that you'll start to see, more and more maybe crypto related like transactionary products or something along those lines. Like, I don't know, like I bet there are already things like just like currency converters like into Bitcoin versus dollar and or like that accepts cash and will convert it back to Bitcoin for you, or whatnot. But you probably have to have a lot of brokerage licensing and things like that, and it's probably a huge ordeal. Yeah. Okay, so we're getting that now. So let's go. So then we need to change that error message. So here we go. We'll say status failed, um, item cost equals integer, right? You uppercase the size. Does the size ever return a value error in my auxiliary? Check size. Raise value error. Invalid size. Right, so we'll go into here. Try to do this to there, and then right, except for a value error as E here. Status failed. Success. Items found. Failed. No items found. Value error. Invalid size. Right. So don't need this. Don't need this. Okay. So now if I go app.py and run that, we go item search ID ABC failed, item ID equals integer. If I go item 1 search, we get it clear, date purchased, ABC search failed, no items found. So let's go here, let's make a date format, right? So app inventory class here, try acceptor ID cost size description, case quote date purchase, right? Date purchased. What are we gonna do here? Value equals check date on value. That returns a confirmed date and a except for value or date check failed. Right. Go back to our inventory tab. We're gonna do check. We're gonna do a try. Accept value error here, we'll say status failed, invalid date. And then we're going to return false here. Except for value error, we're going to return false here. Return false, return false, return false. Except for the date. Here, description. Right, and then you can't enter anything else, right? Because if it's blank, you'll get back for blank entry. So now if we go app.py and run, okay, let's go ID, ABC, search, failed, item ID needs to equal integer. If I go item 1, we get item 1, clear. Date purchased, if I go 1, search, invalid date. If I go ABC, search, invalid date. If I go 2025 dash, so we need to clear though, right? So we, in the other ones, on failures, we're returning false, returning false, returning false, strip. On populate, on a successful, okay, so on a successful search, okay, that's fine. So let's go here, date purchased, ABC, search, invalid. If I go 2025 dash 03 dash 25, search, success, items found. And those are the items for 2025, that date. Perfect. Now if I clear, go description, go test, all lowercase. This should pull up that one and that one. No, that one and that one. No. Oh, because, right, the other ones, let's do this. Let's go to our database here. Let's do this. Let's do db.execute drop all from inventory. How to delete all data in a table in SQLite. Jesus. Delete from table. Delete from table. Delete from table name. Delete from SQLite sequence word name. Okay. Okay, let's reset it. Huh. So if we go database, they're all still there. Huh. How to drop all info into. Okay. So how can I run like the? Oh, here we go. This. Schema. Oh. From select all from I'll go SQLite 3 on smb.db schema. Um, select all from inventory. Oh, this is opening up a new database. Because I'm an app. Delete all from inventory. Come on. So oh, you gotta commit. Oh, okay. That's why. There we go. So now if I go here, app.py, run, add item 2025-03-25, description. We'll make this Edwards 404. Oh, actually, we need 2 words. So sorry, Edwards. Test item size medium cost 125. Let's add that. ID 1. Perfect. Okay, so now if we go test item, okay, so now it's forcing title case. Now if I go test item 2, add, give this a large, 3, add. Okay, now if we search ID number 1, we get that, clear. Search, date purchase, let's do today, see if we get them all. Cool, got them, clear. Description, now we say test item, all lowercase, boom, we pull up those 2, perfect. So now if we say, now if we clear, do test item 2, success. So even with a bunch of spaces at the end, you still find it. Nice. Adita says, Adita, what stack? Django, React with Fast API, MySQL, Firebase. No database until now because I'm a beginner. Thinking about Flask because I want it as a web app. Flask is a good API layer if you want more on Go. If you want more, go to Django. Neither one is better than going with Go as an API layer for Java for more. Yeah, we recently learned Flask in the CS50X course. We got a lot of practice using Flask. We pretty much the week 9 assignment for Flask was in the CS50X course. You had to basically make an entire website. Like it took forever. It took me like 10 hours to build. So you had to build basically an entire, similar to what you're talking about, Adita. Here, let me pull it up. Adita, actually, now that I think about it, look at this. The week 9 on Flask. Let me show you here. Here. Let me show you. If you guys are here, part of the late night crew, leave a thumbs up on the stream. It really, really helps. I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me. You guys are super awesome. Thank you so much for being here. All right, we see CS50X. Week 9, problem set, finance. We want to go. Right, we want to go here. Go Flask run. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. Yeah, here you go. Right. So this is what we had to do. We can register you had to register users. So Michael password, we'll just say 123, register. Not now. Okay, Michael, 123, log in. Not now. There we go. Now you have this, right? You can go buy, ticker, let's say hood, shares, 5, buy shares, bought 5 shares of hood. Go back to the main menu, there's our portfolio. Quote, you can look up hood, get the quote of hood. You can sell, symbol, hood, sell 5 shares, sold them all. Then you can add cash, 50,000. So I don't have cash balance reported here, unfortunately. So it's not working entirely perfectly. But yeah, there's the history as well. So yeah, I highly suggest take a stab at this one if you on the CS50X week 9 to get more familiarity with Flask and databases and stuff. This what really kind of sparked me to be able to build this current project that we're working on right now. Hall Minotaur says Python complete crap. Well, eat this crap, my friend. Look at this beautiful UI. Eat it. Eat it, Hall Minotaur. Take that. Look at this beautiful UI we got going on. You can't tell me this doesn't look sexy. This is like, I haven't even added different fonts. I haven't even added cuts, the styles. This is sexy, just as it is right here. Right, and so, and we've got success. So if we go size, let's say 1, search, invalid size, medium, search, items found for that size large, search, items found for that size, clear. Let's go cost. Let's type in ABC, search, no items found, size failed, item cost equals integer. So let's give a cost of 10, search, no items found. Let's give a cost of 125. Ooh. Search, items found. This is so cool. This is so, it's so cool. I'm finally seeing like my ideas come to life. Like, I was really limited in my first attempt at this program, right? Because I was doing everything in the client in the CLI, the terminal, and I was like it wasn't as visually appealing as this is now, right? It was pretty bare bones and kind of difficult to follow. You had to do a lot of reading, whereas now we have this entire GUI that's been, I've had these ideas in my head for months, and it's finally so cool to see them like coming to life, like taking their first breaths here. Like, it's so cool. How do you guys like the project so far? How do you guys like it? Now, eventually I might add in an additional box here to be like, to add in a range, right? So you could select a range. You could say cost, and then you could input a start and a stop, and you would capture, it would populate all of the values that are within that range as well. So I might add that as an additional filter mechanism and whatnot, but for right now it's looking really good. So I'm going to remove the header up top. Right, so in the add item, we have this text inventory dash dash add item. I'm going to remove that. Let's just make it add item. And then let's make this word wrap come way down to like 100. Now that should wrap the add item like that. Perfect. So add item, search item. So let's do the same thing to here. Remove this. Make the wrap length, what did I say above? 100 or 150? 100. And then let's see what we get here. So we need to make it a little bit bigger, 150 for the wrap. There we go. That looks good. So we could have an additional range or like function, right? To basically, get it together here. But yeah, we've got a good Python working GUI using, we got a full now we can start transitioning, right? This is kind of like, honestly, guys, this is wrapped up the, like, we just have some little bit of testing to do, some different angles obviously for some of these other, especially this add item and the status indicator for the add item. But for the search item, is we really focused on making sure that status was displayed properly. And so now we just need to go back through and just make the edits and updates to this status when we get successes or failures or whatnot. Like when we add an item, it doesn't update the status as success or whatnot. So we need to do that as well, and then also return those errors back as these statuses too. So it's really, really cool so far. We are able to add in items and then search those items in mass within our database and have them be populated live right here in front of us. So this is so, so cool. So now what we can do is basically almost copy our entire um, makeup so far, and then just translate it over to the expenses, right? So the expenses have a similar makeup, but we're not logging items, we're logging charges to the business or expenses, right? So that's where these would go. So very similar makeup, very honestly the same exact structure, just different function calls to the expenses database this time around, and then different, obviously, headings for this matrix. And then the transactions will be a very similar ordeal as well, but just cross rep what will happen. Well, the data will be different. These are for the individual sales, right, that you transact. So um it's all coming together really good here. Hey Jembo, thanks for stopping in. I appreciate you coming in again. Leave a thumbs up on the stream if you guys are here. This has been a really, really productive session so far. We started off with a Leet code problem. We solved Leet code number 70. I believe it was number 70. Let me check. Yeah, number 70. No, not numbers. I guess not number 70. We solved 70 was yesterday. What did we solve today? Which one did we solve today? Amen. I like that. Come on. There we go. We solved 83 today. So tomorrow we'll take a stab at 88. And then 94 has a 78% success rate, so that one might be pretty easy. Today's was really easy, super easy, and it was only 54. Today's was super simple. We solved it in less than 20 minutes with this submission here. It was a little bit slower because we were referencing the dummy node and calling next when we didn't even need to do that on our optimized here. So this one was a little bit faster. Yeah, Alex, we solved the Leet code already, unfortunately. Sorry, man. We finished and we solved number 83 today. We did it at the very beginning, and we solved it in only 20 minutes, so it was really fast. You had to have been here at the beginning to catch it, so which just means that we're getting better, hopefully. Knock on wood. Hey Alex, yeah, welcome in, dude. I made a bank program project with class and OOP today without the help of AI. We're getting somewhere. Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, exactly. Once you start wrapping your head around that OOP principles, I feel like you really open yourselves up to a lot of possibilities with programming and creating, like, better, more just the next step of projects. Like when I was able to wrap my head around physically representing objects in the real world as code, that's exactly the tool I needed to start making this kind of stuff. Is I had these ideas as like, well, how can I wrap all of this information into a container and then reuse that container over and over and over again to generate a similar type of object. And so once OOP came out, it was just boom. It was like off to the races. Well, as soon as I wrapped my head around that one, I remember it very specifically. I had about an hour after the end of work to just kind of, at the end of work one day, to just kind of mess around. And I was sitting at my desk, and I started to make these menus from the Small Business Manager, the previous one. I started to make these menus, and it really just clicked. Right, not this particular one, but the task tracker application or the inventory manager application that I made, or project. I started to make these menus, and then I used a function to make the menu, and then I started to make a class for the inventory, and that's when it all started to just come together. It seemed like just like a very aha moment, like one day, like within 2 hours, it just kind of, because I really struggled on it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. When I first was introduced to classes in Harvard CS50P, I really struggled to wrap my head around, what was going on actually under the hood, and like what it actually was doing. There's a lot of syntax, the dunder, and when you're first learning Python and you get thrown those special methods, you're like, what is going on? Like, what is self? So it can be difficult to approach it at the very beginning, but once I was able to make it click and just get enough practice with it, I've used object-oriented programming in every project I've done so far. It does not go away. Darren says, how many leak codes do I saw? I think that was our 23rd. Oh, that was our 25th leak code. Let's go. You guys got to leave a thumbs up on the stream for the 25th leak code problem of our career. We have solved 25 leak code problems. That's really cool. So, just in a few more weeks, we'll be at 50. And then a few weeks after that, we'll be at 75. And then we're at 100. And then we're off to the races from there. So, this is awesome. Um, Alex says, joining from some motel in the middle of nowhere, traveling to Charlotte from New York. Oh, what takes you to Charlotte, Alex? What brings you out there? Charlotte, North Carolina? Is that where the is that where the Hornets play? I think so. The old Bobcats. Prax, is that my computer stuttering? No, it was my connection. I started to lag a little bit. My OBS threw me a little flag saying that the connection was a little spotty, but it should be okay now. Jembo FPS, I think CS50P was very overwhelming in the beginning because it was very project based. Yeah, honestly, I really think it's just a lot of information, right? They really try to convey it as a beginner course, and yeah, it is a beginner course. But I will say that if you're coming at programming from not having any, literally zero programming experience, never seen Hello World, never seen, any of that, never seen none of that, then it can be a little bit difficult and a little bit and pretty daunting, right? Those 2 hour lectures, it seems like at the end of them, you're like mentally exhausted. You're just like, um, you know, it's so much information to pick up. So just really allow yourself to take the time, take all those YouTube gurus that tell you can master this in under 2 months and just throw it out the window. It's not true. It's an internet lie that has been sold to you guys. And now, there might be outliers that did learn this that fast, and that's great for them. But those are outliers. It's not realistic, and we like to, focus on what is realistic in here, right? So just really try to don't try to rush through the course. Don't try to keep up with, just take it at your own pace. And then if something doesn't make sense, you don't have to move on. Like, you don't have to go to the next week. You can go back and watch a section again. You can go look up other things. It's not like the typical college class where you're forced to move on, past that subject matter, even if you aren't familiar, and start compounding onto the next because you have a test coming up. No, the problem sets are completely independent to you, and you should treat it that way. Hold yourself accountable and really take it and look in the mirror and say, I'm not going to move on from this week's subject matter until I really feel comfortable with what was taught at every minute in the lecture. And doing that really helped me just to take it at my own pace. I completed the course over 3 months, over the entire summer, very part time. I remember I did about I watched the week on classes and object oriented programming. I watched that one, and I didn't watch the next week for another 2.5 to 3 weeks because I was pretty invested in actually learning and obtaining a solid foundation and what OOP was in Python specifically with these dunder methods. I had to Alex said, figuring out what the word self meant was like a huge revelation. Like seeing that word at the very beginning, I was like, what is this self? Like what? Like I was just like they were just speaking complete gibberish. But then once you just think about it and think about it and think about it, you really it makes sense. Like yeah, I have to reference the current object that I'm on. Like if I'm making an object, well, that has a current self, and that's just a dummy placeholder for the creation of that object and then all the methods that you can reference off of that object, right? So every object will have those methods associated with itself, right? So it makes sense, like in terms of English and stuff. Jembo, and I accept the fact that I'm a slow learner, so I really just took a step back and just learned the basic fundamentals at my own speed. Yes, that's how I was about self until I actually read it multiple times in the book. Yeah, exactly. And then did you do the Harvard? Did you do the Python crash course too, Jembo? I think I remember you telling me about that. The Python crash course paired with the Harvard CS50P, in my opinion, will set you up very, very well. That's exactly what I did. I'm not saying that I'm doing this the right way or doing this a proper way. I've only been learning for 7, 8 months now, but we've so far built coming up on 3 projects, and within the year that we've been learning, and one of them is pretty advanced here so far, pretty elaborate. Now we're not all the way done yet, but and we're moving quite fast. Is my first iteration of this project, the Small Business Manager, just in the CLI here. I've been writing this project for 2 months, and now that I decided to refactor, I've been writing this project for a week. I've been working on this one for a week, literally. So we put all of this together in just a week's time, based on all that previous knowledge and studying that we did before, right? So it's just is really leveling up here, which is really awesome. And automated the boring stuff. How did you like that one? People often recommended me that one. Someone in the chat also recommended. Um, if you guys aren't in the Discord, join the Discord. It's a really great place to be for a lot of great resources. Um, I can't remember where it was exactly, but someone recommended a book. Here, Algo. He recommended this one, which is by Daniel Zingaru, and it's by the same No Starch Press. So this one's basically just problem solving. So maybe I'll give this one a go and we'll just complete it, part time, like just for fun, solving the problems in it. But, it might seem kind of, kiddie or, small, low intelligence, but I really like the simplicity of these books and how they're written, because the coding and programming language is hard enough. Like, why are we making it harder by using jargon and fancy terms? Why don't we just break it down into very simple English and show me very simple English examples? That's why I really like the No Starch Press books. What do you guys think? Hey man, are you using Tkinter? Yeah, I am. So this is our current project that I've been using live right now. Let's go. I think we got another part. There we go. Yeah. So I built this all in Tkinter so far. We've taught ourselves Tkinter. We took about 2 days to really grind through, and I watched probably 6 hours worth of Tkinter videos and I did about another 5 hours of just raw messing around myself into Kinter and like trying to get this going, prompting the AI I really prompted the AI to not show me things, but just walk me through with text and follow it kind of like a book would. And anyways, this is what I've written everything by myself here, live on stream, besides a few things that I wrote after hours, like just sitting on the couch with my girlfriend. But yeah, it's been coming along really nicely here. So yeah. Thanks for coming in, Jamps. Yeah, I guess it happens with every new concept you learn. You don't get it, but then read it multiple times from a different perspective, and suddenly it's clear and easy. Yeah, that's a very common trend I've been seeing with a lot of these topics. Is I won't get it at first, and I've been really trying to take the mindset of not beating myself up on that first pass. Like for some of these leak code problems or for some of these topics, is if I'm not getting it at first, then I'll just come back the next day. It'll be a little bit easier. I'll come back the next day. It'll be a little bit easier. And then I'll slowly start just chunking down that learning curve until it's nothing. And then I've accomplished and learned the concept. So just keep coming in day after day and trying it, trying it, and trying it. Right? I really think that the internet fallacy of this stuff is easy to learn in a few short period, in a few short weeks is really got people messed up. Those YouTube gurus. I do have a learning disability, so I'm taking it on my own speed. That's awesome, dude. That's really well. That's awesome. You're taking it at your own speed. It's awesome. You're taking it at your own speed, Jembo. That's awesome for you. I'm proud of you. But I'm really proud I was able to make that bank project because from when I started to now. Yeah, exactly. My first project was a simple iteration of that small business manager CLI one, where I just was taking in and reporting out inventory items similar to how I use inventory system at my workplace as a chemist. For those of you that don't know, I have a degree in human biology and a minor in chemistry, and I work as a formulation chemist for a biotech company. I graduated from college in 2021, and I got a job right out of college for this biotech company, and I've been there ever since for the past 3+ years. Currently a mid-level scientist too, kind of in the transitionary period into a scientist, kind of senior scientist level. So, and I've been teaching myself how to code every day after my 9 to 5 job for the past 7 or 8 months now. We've come a long way. Do you do anything with APIs yet? Just on this local level, from the front end to back end here, of using just like of like the Flask get methods and post methods, but in Tkinter you're just able to, you don't have to use get or post. You just use the get methods associated with the widgets, and then you can basically just access your database within Python itself, and then just insert directly into the database. I don't have like a post, like there's no like post method. Like I'm handling the uploads of the add item, which is a post, right? I'm handling that just by taking in the gets of all those fields. Like those are the posts, right? Um and then just generating the insert off of that information. Lots of comments. You guys are awesome. I think it's a really good, explains a lot of stuff, very on point. Awesome. That you automate the boring stuff? Yeah. Hey, oh yeah, I read that one. There's also a classic book, How to Solve It by Polia. Highly recommend. Alex, yeah. You mind throwing that in the Discord? Just a link if you wouldn't mind? Yeah, no starch is goaded for sure. Dat kid, dude. Welcome back in, Dat kid. It's awesome to hear from you again. I made a password manager into Kinter for my final project. That's sweet. That's a really good idea. Password manager. I started the CS50X today, Jesus said. I watched this week zero on Scratch lecture, even though the bits, ASCII, and all that intro stuff is review for me. The lecture makes everything super easy to understand. Yeah, David's pretty great about kind of breaking things down. I do wish he would go a little bit deeper on some of the subjects to tell you maybe why but he obviously just doesn't have a lot of time to do that. So, but no, it's a great course for sure. Yeah, week zero can be a little bit boring, but it gets started getting dense quick. I probably spent 10 plus hours reading about promises and async programming and still don't get it. Each time I come back to the topic, it starts to make more sense. Yeah, that's a great approach. Not sure what that topics are personally, but sounds awesome, that kid. No super technical talk or advanced information, but easy to understand. Yeah, week one will definitely start getting it when you get into C. It ramps up. Not too bad though. I've only been coding for 2 months, so I'm kind of impressive in my own way. That's awesome. Super impressive for sure, dude. Post if you have a showcase the project in the Discord in the project showcase. Show people what you made. Yeah, me too, Jembo. Biochem graduate, learning to code just because we're interested. Yeah. Yeah, we got 16 in here. My record is when we first started the CS50X course, that first lecture watch along we did, I had about, I think 45 in here at one point in time. We had 45. I gained like 30 subscribers just in that one stream session. And I think we cracked over a total of 1,000 views on the stream session alone. But we had 45 concurrent, which is pretty crazy. So if you guys are here, leave a thumbs up. My name is Michael. I stream every single day teaching myself Python after my 9 to 5 job as a chemist. And I've been building projects after my job. After, I start the streams typically by reading books, working and taking notes for about 15-20 minutes just to warm up. Then we'll do a Leet code problem. Today we solved number, I always forget, 83. We solved number 83. We solved this one in under 20 minutes. So this was really awesome that we were able to solve this one fairly quick. And it was really, I think this one was pretty easy. We already did the merged links, the sorted linked list one. So this one was pretty easy to come if you've already done that one. And then we worked on our small business manager project for a few hours. And so this is what we got going on so far. So last time we, incorporated the add item. So we were able to add items, right? 2025-03-25. Description, we'll call this dat kid dude. We'll say dat kid. Yeah, we'll add kid dude, right? Size is going to be a medium. We'll say he's a large. He's a tall guy. And then cost, we'll say that kid dude costs $100. You add that gets added in, right? If you have incorrect checks here, such as like ABC, right? Invalid date. So there are checks going on here. And then now we added in today as we wrote all our custom functions within our database query manager class and our actual, right? So in our DB manager class, this is not the right program, right? In our DB manager class, we wrote this fetch inventory item. And then we wrote this, which takes in a column and a value. And you can dynamically select all the items from inventory where the column equals to that value. And then within our actual inventory tab here for this GUI, we are taking the event of the inventory search, right? We are checking to make sure that those columns aren't blank. And then we match the column to do specific error checking on the value associated at that column. And then we do the query, right, via that function that we just looked at in the database manager. And then we populate the matrix via those found items. So we wrote that function today, this function today, and this function today. And what got us was this, is we have these 5 items in here now. So now if we go ID, item number 5, and we search, we pull up item number 5. It dynamically loads and refreshes our matrix to display item number 5. If we go date purchase, if we clear that out, it brings back our original matrix. Now, if we go date purchased for 2025-03-25, nothing will change here visually just because in this circumstance, all of our items are on that day. But if we press search, we success items found, and it displays all of those. Now, again, nothing changed because they're all the same day. But if I go clear and I do description and I pull up the dat kid dude, in all lowercase, it'll, right, these are being title cased, and these input will also be title cased. If I search, I pull up dat kid dude's item. And then if I do size, let's clear this out and do size medium search, that pulls up all the size mediums. If I do a cost of, $1.25 and search, that pulls up all the $1.25 sensors. And then if I do a status of inventory and search, that just pulls up all the inventory statuses. Now this will eventually change to for sale, right? For sale items. So there are no for sale items, and there are no sold items either for the status. So that's how you could filter out those individual statuses as well. But then that's what we wrote today, and then also that status down below here is appropriately displaying that the matrix was reset on clears, that items were failed on certain searches, or successful, right? Search success, item found, clear, matrix reset. So it's working really awesome. This is really cool. Um, I'm a professional lurker. Are you looking for a job in tech or just learning for fun? Mainly just for fun right now, but as I said before, if any doors open in this industry, I really do enjoy programming, and if I can combine it with my current abilities in biology and chemistry, then I think that would be a really good path for me. But I'm just whatever doors open, I'll take them as they come. I'm just learning for fun though, just to keep all the pressure off. I think that there's a current trend with a lot of CS majors, especially that obviously they're making an investment into their career, so they're really stressed about finding work. And I think that can maybe rub off onto their interviews and just on their energy in general. So maybe taking the opposite approach and just letting things come as they are and making my work showcase itself potentially could be a different or an avenue to go down to maybe distinguish ourselves from the competition or whatnot. But it is fairly competitive, and I am employed in a different field that is fairly successful. So I have no rush. I'm just learning this for fun, and whatever happens, happens. Thanks for your comment, Alex. We got 50. Gotcha. Mahan said we had 50 concurrent viewers that day, but first day of CS50 was 30. There was a random day we got 50. Yeah. So I think YouTube has been, unfortunately, I think YouTube has been pushing our videos a little less and less in the like the for you and the stuff. I'm not sure why. It's just I don't know. We used to get pretty much about 500 views a stream no matter what, and I'm lucky to kind of crack 200 now, which is fine. I really like hanging out with the people that come in here consistently, and that's the main point. And the main point is to learn. It's not about whatever happens with the channel. It's just a cherry on top. But the channel is just like a docu series for me to go back and reference when I'm editing the videos. I'm revisiting those topics and listening to them again over and over again as I'm making those edits. When I'm you know uploading the videos, I have to watch them back to make sure that they're like right and they look good. So I'm just re-listening to those topics again. So I'm just hitting these things over and over and over again, and that's really what I think is attributing to some of my successes here. Jamps code. I struggled to grasp Python's fundamentals through videos, but after watching switching to a book inspired by you, it's going really well. Yeah, dude. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that really crazy, Jamps? How much and how undervalued the book is in today's modern society. I really think that there has been my scientific hypothesis is that there's been a flip or a complete shift um, in learning where in the past you had to learn from books and people were really smart. Like people are still smart today, yes, right? People are really smart today, but think back then is that what people did in their free time was just read. Like that's how they got entertainment. That's how they got education. That's how they figured everything was through text and through reading. And so a lot of people would just continue reading and read scientific books, and you would have people in their 50s and 60s that had just gathered mass amounts of knowledge on various subjects just by reading. It's kind of crazy. I was watching The Crown, funny enough, to relate it, and they were talking about DNA and how that was coming up and being developed and everything, because they were talking, there was some sort of family history thing that they were doing on The Crown, which is about the British Empire and the royal family, and the Prince Philip, the the Dutch of Edinburgh, the Duke of Edinburgh, he was talking about how he like had a fluent conversation about mitochondrial DNA in the male, in men, or in like the male sex because he said I just read it in a book. I was reading a book, so it's just crazy how much information is packed into those books and how much you can absorb in my terms better than videos. I think it's completely switched the dynamic, and then I think books are really undervalued. What do you guys think? What's your guys' theories? Um, this is really cool. Try doing the same thing as a web app next. Yeah, so that could be a really good practice is once we have this working as completely as a desktop app, we could then transition it into a web app from there using a Flask framework and really, have a user base and log in and everything, and then they could access all of their inventory via the cloud and not have to do any local storage via SQLite. We could use like PostgreSQL or something like that and learn something new. So for sure, Alex. Prax, my MacBook comes tomorrow, Michael. Any Mac apps that help with coding like organizers or anything? Oh, which one did you go with, Prax? Weren't you? I thought you were on the fence. Weren't you kind of deciding which one you wanted, or was that someone else? For apps, I just have the GPT app so I can have the option space, the hot search on the GPT, which is really helpful for just getting quick answers for, questions or examples. Um, I used to download the Rectangle app when I got Macs, but now Mac had when the Microsoft licensing ran out for the like auto fits, right? Mac was able to, or the patent ran out of time. Mac was able to incorporate that into their OS, I think. So now I don't use that Rectangle app anymore. But honestly, the native apps on Mac are really good. I downloaded this whiteboard app, which is pretty good from the App Store. This is what I use to basically do all my like writing on the stream and stuff. Besides that, just the normal Spotify, VS Code. You'll like it. It's really awesome. Less likes, less engaged, I guess, Mahan. Yeah. I'm behind on the chats. You guys aren't delayed. It's me. I'm really behind on the chats. I'm trying to make sure I read them all. At least for me, you pop up every night, but it's because I follow your channel, have been there before. Yeah, probably. Darren says, as CS major, I'm busting my ass, bro. I keep getting rejected more. I'm more than qualified too. Yeah, that's tough, man. It's rough. I can't provide any real input because I don't have a lot of input to provide. Because that's why I'm kind of keeping that mentality of if this is just for fun. Because if I try to put pressure on it for work, I don't want to get that feeling, of. But it's tough, like you said, as a CS major, you invested your time into this, so you're trying to get that reward out of it. I feel for you. I'm sorry, Darren. That kid, I prefer books now too. It seems like my attention span has gotten better since I've been reading more. Yeah, dude, that's a huge point as well. I'm like yapping like crazy. Sorry, guys, but that's a huge point as well. Is that um, I've also deleted. I since I graduated college, I deleted social media, and so except for like YouTube and like Facebook and LinkedIn, which I don't really use that much. But anyways, I um, I deleted all kind of forms of like the reels and shorts because I really felt that those were affecting my ability to retain my attention. Like in like in 100% honesty, like not even kidding. Like I just felt myself just moving on from subjects quicker because I was just becoming bored. And like when I kind of battled that out and started reading these books, my attention has been able to been captivated longer, and I've been able to stay focused on this material. But when I was reading at the start, I could read like 2 or 3 pages and then I'd be done and I'd be like, I'm bored. But now I can go for like 10, 15, 20 and take notes and keep going. And it's definitely that attention span stuff too. Yeah. uh I'm third year. This degree is over. Gonna finish it to become McDonald's worker. Videos were better for me at first, but books have been my go-to for a few years now. Yeah. I knew this one guy. He was a really old, I think, mathematician or scientist that was like friends with my dad growing up. My dad used to kind of help him out, do some chores around his house. And anyways, he just had this huge library of just advanced mathematics, calculus, programming, science of all subjects, and he had read every single book. And so just the amount of general knowledge and intellect this man had was really, crazy. Hey Wolf, what's going on? I got the 2020 MacBook Air M1. Sweet, dude. I think you'll love that. That'll be a great device for you. Hey Wolf, welcome in, dude. Welcome back. Don't you need a Chat 8 GTP 8 for that thing? No, I only have only have the free version. I've never paid for nothing. You just have to download the app um, and then enable the hotkey. I feel like just watching videos doesn't retain as much knowledge as reading books. Tutorials often make me feel like I'm sitting there, but with books I can absorb and retain way more. Yeah, exactly. With books you have to put in physical energy. Like you have to With books, you have to exhaust energy reading. Like reading is a form of exhausting energy, whether you believe so or not. It is. You do get tired reading. It does take effort, and by applying that effort, you are at least giving something into the study. Whereas if you're watching a video, you can just sit there and go off into space and not really absorb it. But if you're having to read it, in order to obtain the material, you have to put in effort. That's a good point. I feel like watching videos doesn't retain knowledge from books. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, not in the terminal. This was the desktop app. Reels content are the real culprits for short span. Yeah, exactly. I deleted my social media and I don't scroll on Reels. Now I'll catch myself on Facebook every once in a while, in a loop or something. But they're pretty hard to get to on Facebook just because you have to like really seek them out. But like on Instagram or TikTok or none of that, like, that short form content really, really, I don't know. I think that there will be some studies that come out in the future about the effects of short form content on our abilities to um, maybe memory, maybe synapse firing. I really, there's going to be something that comes out. Grok is pretty cool too. It helps you learn to code in JavaScript, Python. However, I would focus on the codes that make sure they're working. Yeah, that's what we do. Is and if I use the AI ever, I really preface it almost. You guys will always see me to say, I say at the end or at the beginning, please don't show me code, but walk me through step by step with words or point out where I could improve. And don't show code. I always preface don't show code. All right, so this is our current project, you guys. We have completed pretty much. We just have a couple of bugs with the, here and there to maybe polish up and do some styling. But overall, we have completed the inventory tab here. Woohoo! Yeah! Yeah, we've completed the inventory tab. We can successfully add items. Incorrect data inputs are verified and proper error message are given back to us. And then we can properly search based on these headings for specific values within these headings and populate the matrix for those specific queries. So we can do a size of medium and search and pull up all of the size mediums. And so we can make specific queries for various. So the most common ones are probably going to be date and description and potentially cost and probably status as well, because these items will in the transactions be converted into for sale and sold for their status. So we'll be able to populate those here. But anyway, you guys, I really appreciate you guys joining me here and helping me out. I stream every single day around 7 p.m. PST after my 9 to 5 job as a chemist. I've been building these projects. This one more specifically, I've been building this iteration of it for a little over a week now, so not very long at all. We've come a really long far way quite quickly in getting a project up and going. But I've been working on iterations of this project for a few months now within the CLI. And then so yeah, we did that today and we completed a Leet code problem. So I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you guys truly for joining me tonight. It was a lot of fun today. It was really, honestly, a lot of fun talking with you guys. Please subscribe and give a thumbs up to the video. It really, really helps you guys. Trust me, it really does. In terms of having YouTube keep promoting us and growing our community together so we can talk. Join the Discord I have linked down below if you guys aren't in there, where I provide completely for free every resource I use on my stream and in my learning to learn and teach myself these topics. I provide you weekly breakdowns of the courses I take and solutions to my answers and code to my projects and everything. So thank you guys so much for being here. I will come back tomorrow and chat with me in the chat. Prax, have you changed your ChatGPT and settings to not do that? It's an easy way to make it talk like a teacher. Yeah, I kind of haven't done it like officially to make it not show me code, just because sometimes I will have it show me just one-liner short examples just so I can understand a topic or what a method does or things like that. So there are specific times where I will have it show me examples of some codes, very short snippets. So I do like that. But when I'm referencing my own code or my own problems or my own questions regarding what I want to write, then I will specify, don't show code. Jamps, are you using DSA in this project or just core Python? Um, well, I mean, like in terms of DSA, like I mean, we're using like a database, which, you know, but we're not like manually creating any of our own data structures really, like in terms of like queues or decks or before we were using, a key value system to pull these items, but we're not doing that anymore. We were using a binary search algorithm to do the search for us, but we're not doing that anymore just because we're doing SQL queries now. So um, I kind of have abstracted the data structures into the SQL database itself, and then um, in terms of algorithms, hmm, like I haven't made any customs or anything, but just I guess all of this is just one giant algorithm technically, I guess, right? um, any advice, brother, on how you taught yourself math? I'm currently taking again intermediate algebra. I need to reach to stats, long path. Math, I haven't gone back into a deep dive into math um on the channel yet. I do want to. I do want to take and refresh Calculus 1, 2, and then get into Calculus 3, and then linear algebra as well. I took up to Calculus 1 and then up to 3000 level statistics in science. So, like with p values, alpha values, bell curves, um, prediction models, stuff like that. But it's been a while. I don't really have any advice per se, but stick around on the stream. I would really like to get into um, refreshing math and diving deeper into that personally as well. On the channel, I started to take the MIT um, Mathematics for Computer Science course, and oh my gosh, the proofs on there, I just was kind of lost, so I gave up. I need to go back and maybe try it again, but the MIT 6.042J course is pretty difficult from the start, from the jump. My brother is in college, and he said he's struggling with his algebra too, his algebra as well. He's never, he hasn't reached out to me and asked me for any help or anything, but he's apparently struggling. My parents tell me he's got to go get help, and he's not doing too hot. Yeah, I mean, Wolf, like, I think that there's like honestly, I think that there's a facade or a kind of a pressure or a societal pressure to do all this stuff fairly quickly. And I think that just really at the end of the day, I think causes burnout and you to lose the enjoyment at some point along the path, wherever that may be. So I'm really trying to, change that mindset to just doing this out of my enjoyment. And if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to do it. And so, um, and by keeping that, I've been, able to stay consistent here. I took a year off of school to build a solid math foundation, went through Algebra 1, Geometry, and now Algebra 2 by myself with YouTube textbooks and AI. That's awesome. Well, definitely that kid, dude. We're going to be coming to you for some advice then when we get into some math. Do you have any suggestions for math courses? Throw them in the Discord because I'm going to be looking to start that up soon on the channel. Just like once a week, like doing like a lecture, and then after at the end of 2 months, we've completed a whole math course or something, and then we can keep going from there. So, anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, let me know for suggestions on math courses we can dive into. I'm thinking we're gonna we need probably some pre-calculus refresher, and then definitely some calculus refresher. My whatever dy over dx or dx over dy is real rusty. Let me tell you. So, anyways, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sorry for the rambles. Please subscribe and like and join the Discord. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.